There's something uniquely terrifying about looking out your window and realizing you're not alone. Sometimes what's outside isn't just a shadow. It's watching, waiting. Here are 3 true horror stories of people who noticed someone outside their window. Story 1. The porch light trick. It was around 11:45 p.m. on a Tuesday. I live in a rural area, so nights are silent, almost too silent. That night, I was curled up in bed, scrolling through my phone, when I noticed a sudden flicker from the hallway. The porch light had turned on. I thought maybe my dad had gone out to get something from his truck, but when I peeked through the window, I didn't see anyone, just the empty driveway glowing under the porch light. I brushed it off and went back to bed. A few minutes later, it turned off. Then, exactly 10 minutes later, it turned back on again. This time I stayed low and crept to the window, moving the curtain just enough to peek. There was a man standing at the edge of the light. He wasn't doing anything, just standing there, not moving, not looking at the door, just facing our house. I froze. I wanted to yell for my dad, but I couldn't make a sound. Then the man took a step forward, and another. I backed away. My heart was racing. Just as he reached the porch step, the light turned off again. Complete darkness. I couldn't see him anymore. I heard nothing. No footsteps, no door creaking. When I finally got the courage to look out again, he was gone. My dad checked the cameras the next morning. There was no footage. The system had lost power between 11:45 and 12:15, exactly during the time I saw him. Story 2. The reflection. A few years ago, I was living in a small basement apartment. The only window was above my bed, near the ceiling, half above ground level. One night, I woke up around 3 a.m. It wasn't a noise that woke me. It was the feeling, like someone was watching. I looked up. The window was pitch black, but I noticed something strange, a faint glimmer. It looked like the outline of a face, just a silhouette, barely lit by the street lamp behind. I blinked. It didn't move. I thought maybe I was dreaming. So I reached for my phone and turned on the flashlight. I pointed it at the window, and the face vanished. I tried to calm myself, told myself it was just condensation or some weird shadow. But the next morning, I found 2 things that still disturb me to this day. First, smudges on the outside glass, like someone had pressed their face right up against it. You could even see the faint marks from a nose and forehead. Second, muddy footprints right under the window. No other prints going toward or away from it. Just 2, like someone stood there and never left. I filed a police report. They checked, but there were no cameras nearby and no signs of a break-in. A week later, it happened again. This time, I didn't see a face, but I heard something, a soft tapping. I stayed frozen under the covers until sunrise. The tapping stopped around 4 a.m. When I finally looked, there were fresh prints. Same spot, same shape, same number, just 2. Story 3. The girl in the glass. This happened when I was 13. I was staying with my aunt in the countryside for the summer. Her house sat at the edge of a wide field with no neighbors for miles. One night, I was brushing my teeth. Her bathroom had a large window above the sink with no curtain, just empty darkness beyond. I wasn't scared. I had done this every night for weeks. But as I looked down at the sink, I noticed something in the reflection. Behind me, outside the window, a girl, just standing there in the tall grass, pale, hair covering most of her face. I turned around instantly, but she wasn't there. Nothing. When I looked back in the mirror, gone. I ran to my aunt. She told me not to worry. Probably just my imagination. But the next night, I saw her again. This time, she was closer. Same reflection, same dead expression, just watching. But again, only in the mirror, never when I turned to look. On the 3rd night, I covered the window with a towel, but right as I turned off the light to leave, I heard 3 slow knocks on the glass. I never looked. I just walked straight out and didn't brush my teeth that night. I told my aunt everything. She went pale and said nothing for a while, then finally whispered, "You're not the first one to see her." Sometimes what's outside our window isn't trying to come in. It just wants to be seen. Maybe next time you close the blinds, make sure no one's already watching.